Hey, welcome to the RobCast Podcast. I'm Dr. Robert Benson. This is where conversations are grounded in truth. I got a great guest for us today. A guy who is the founder and CEO and all of that great stuff of something called Iron Sharpening Iron. I'm going to let him talk about it because you know I don't steal thunder. But this brother is great. Let me bring in and say hello to Brother Domonique Mitchell, Dr. Domonique Mitchell. Hey, Doc, how you doing, man?
What's going on, Dr. Robert? Brother, how you feeling, man?
Doing great. It's good to see you again, man. How have you been?
I've been wonderful, brother. Can't complain. My uncle used to always say, better be seen than viewed.
Is that not a true statement, man? I'm gonna tell you.
Amen.
Yeah, well, let's not waste any time, man. You got some great stuff going on. I know that you have the key to several cities. I know Atlanta, and let's talk about the other ones that you have the key for.
Houston,
Mhm.
um, New Orleans, and we're working right now, June 19th, the city of Atlanta.
Wow. Well,
Proclamation.
congratulations.
Yeah.
And you're also a
Thank you, brother.
doctor.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah. That's an honorary doctor. Talk about that honorary doctorate that you have, and how you worked that to get it.
Um, that came from the Christian Science from South Carolina Business School, and doctor in Christian business
Mhm.
because I do a lot of business.
Yeah. The thing that's amazing about that is that it's Christian, so you have to have spirituality. So everything that you do has to be grounded in spirituality. Talk about your
Has to come from the
foundation.
kingdom.
Yeah, amen. Talk about your foundation and upbringing. That they say you rear a child in a certain way, they will never depart from it. Talk to us.
My grandmother, oh my goodness, you know, the things we learn from our grandmothers. My grandmother always taught me kingdom. A woman with a fifth grade education, Jim Crow, but she loved God, but she loved God in a different way, not in a church setting. She always talked about that's the facility and we're the church. You're not going to get too much out of the facility, but you'll get a whole lot out of your soul and your heart. So when I started learning about the kingdom, difference between religion and all that, because Jesus came down here and he brought a kingdom. He got religion here, but he brought a kingdom to us. So you got to learn the kingdom, the difference between religion and the kingdom.
Hmm. The thing I admire is I was reading some of your stuff, and you have something that you wrote, and I want to quote it and see what you don't mind talking about it. It says,
Mhm,
"Plan purposefully, prepare prayerfully, proceed
mhm.
positively, pursue productively the elements for success." Wow. I mean, I like to do quotes and I like to do little antidotes and talk about things myself. What motivated you to come up with those P's like that, and how they managed to fall into place and get that message across? Wow.
Birth on the earth what you are worth and never give away your purpose. That's
Mhm.
all in purpose. You know, if we were born looking like our parents, but we're going to die looking like the decisions we make. So it's about purpose. What is your purpose? A lot of people don't know what their purpose are.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't understand what their gift are. A lot of people walking on the face of this earth, they just don't understand. And
Mhm.
they just, even the people with billions and millions, they still don't understand what your purpose and what your gift is. They don't understand
Mhm.
what's your gift and what's your purpose, and what's your gift.
Mm. So let me ask you this. How did you figure out what your purpose and gift was? I know that you've worked with some very, very, very famous people, and you were working with them in a couple different capacities. You were a bodyguard, and you also had the opportunity to mentor them and guide their lives. Talk about how
Mhm.
you use those experiences to build on some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today on the show.
Well, a lot of people spend their whole life in confusing their gift and purpose. Your
Mm-hmm.
gift is what you're naturally good at. Your purpose is why God allows you to have the gift in the first place. You
Mm-hmm.
know, David played music so well, um, but that got him in the palace. The music was never the final assignment. The harp got him in the room, but the crown was the real purpose. So the, some people could sing, some people could preach, some people could build businesses because gifts attract attention. Your purpose carries responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And a gift can make you famous, but purpose will make you effective. And a lot of artists that I worked with had the gift, but they died before their purpose.
Hmm. Wow, that's terrible. But and the thing about it too, often heard it said, and I've seen it and personally experienced it. If you have a gift and you don't lose it, you're going to use it. Excuse me. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. You know,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
Me at one time, I was a very talented singer, and I
Hmm.
messed up and didn't really use that talent. But now I use my voice for something else. So,
Amen. And
yeah.
I'm glad you said that because
Mm,
maybe your business was never about making money.
mm,
Maybe it was about creating jobs. Maybe your pain wasn't just pain. Maybe it was preparation so you could heal others.
mhm.
So like you just said, your daughter was singing, but your voice is making more powerful situation because God never takes away. He lets us destroy it.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Okay, so now you were a bodyguard, and you got as a bodyguard, you had to get pretty personal with people, and you found out probably a lot more about them than the media and probably some of their own family and very, very closest friends knew
Hmm.
about them. How do you manage that information and still be professional? And then, is there a limit to which you think that you should do or even be involved with somebody's life while you're doing
We're going back in the day now. Yeah,
that?
back in the day from 95 to like 2005.
Mhm,
It's crazy because Saturday is actually Lisa Left Eye's 25th anniversary that
mhm,
I'm going to celebrate with the family.
mhm.
I was her personal bodyguard for years, Black's personal bodyguard, and Tina also. And none of these people died on my watch. So just to make sure you understand that.
Clear,
So,
clear, clear.
but it depends on who you are. In today's society, there is no these bodyguards and these people. They all, not all of them, but it's reality shows. It's about fake click. It's about you actually see some bodyguards now doing things I never thought I would see.
Mhm,
Actually going on television and telling stories about things that they shouldn't be saying.
mhm.
But because but that's the internet anyway. You know, you see DEFGHIJK stars talk about A and B stars. You'll never see Denzel Washington talk about Samuel Jackson. You'll never see Beyonce talk about Janet Jackson. You'll never see Madonna talk about Britney Spears. You just never will see that.
Mhm.
But you'll see the people who did not make it, who work with these people because they're not doing nothing. Their life sucks. They have to get on podcasts and talk about other people because no one gives a damn about you.
About what they're doing, right, right.
No one cares.
Mhm. It's amazing you mentioned that because I remember back when Tiger Woods was having his issues, his caddy was the guy that surfaced as this
Mm-hmm.
know-it-all or this
Mm-hmm.
famous guy. And I remember
Yep.
Stephen A. saying, "Hey, come on, man, you're a caddy."
You're a
So,
caddy. Come on, man. Come
so,
on.
so, so, Dr. Dominic, talk to me, man. How long do you think that you should do that job as a bodyguard? I mean, just to kind of keep that line and that separation drawn. How long do you think you should even do it for somebody?
Well, I have helped hundreds of liaisons
Hmm.
to transfer back into the executive field because the bodyguard you meet everybody.
Hmm.
Everybody has to call you. The road manager has to call you. The mother has to call you. The husband has to call you. The wife has to call you. The the woman who is not the wife have to call you.
That
The
person.
man who's not the husband calls you
Hmm.
and the label calls you. So you know everything. And after years, you know the management, you know the labels, you know the executives. So it's really easy for you to pull what you want to do or music artist to somebody and say, hey, check this artist out. And then that artist blows up. And now you go from bodyguard to management or to executive because you know the business. And you get to see the artist, how she or he heals or fails or cries. You see everything,
Hmm.
every bit.
Hmm.
You know that artist from or that management or whatever from every season.
So how long do you think you should do that? Is there a time frame in which, like for instance, me, in my personal life, I don't think I've been anywhere since I was in the military more than 5 years. I figure that
Hmm.
I'm going to apex or bottom out at that point, and it always tends to hold true. About 5 years is my threshold where either I'm going to get what I'm looking for or I'm not. So you don't see a time limit to which you can be that close or involved with anybody's life?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how you are right here.
Okay.
You know how smart you are. You know, not everybody's that smart to go into the business.
Hmm.
Like you see a lot of rappers who are still rapping
Hmm.
at age 50, 51, 52, where I feel they should be in the business as executives,
Hmm.
you know, because you know the business. But let me tell you something, that the number one drug is fame. And
Wow.
so I can't sit here and say what they should do when you get hooked and you never walked in their shoes or
Hmm.
been where they've been. So all I can do is just say, hey, this would be the standard, or
Hmm.
this would be where you would want to go. But if you don't, it's your life.
No, that's a great point, Dominic, because it's analogous to the punch drunk boxer that doesn't want to retire. He's got to have that one more fight, and at some point, the calendar, who is undefeated, is going to catch up with him and is going to take him out. It's that simple. But talk a little bit about
Well,
some of the. I'm sorry.
the
Go ahead.
calendar, hold it. The calendar is not undefeated. Got one loss.
And that's to who?
That's to Jesus.
Okay. Amen. He's lost to Jesus. Amen to that. I love that.
Lost only one loss in life.
Okay, I bet that I'm going to stop saying it's undefeated. I'm going to say it's
Mm-mm.
a billion in one. Okay,
And one.
in one. Hey, this is an interesting conversation, man, because I really would like to dig a little bit more into this bodyguard thing. What exactly did you have to do to become qualified to do that?
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. One thing that I know about life is when it's your time. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is.
Hmm.
I was working well, first of all, it started as a whim. I was in a club in Stone Mountain, Georgia called Club Flavors,
Hmm.
right? And this was in 1995. And we walked in, me and my boy, we walked into the club and everything. This was right before Freaknik in 95. And we were just looking over, and I'm originally from New York, so I'm looking at exit signs, and I'm like, there's no security in here. Where's the security? So in my mind, I'm saying, oh, they're probably undercover with some messed in with the crowd. So no later than 15 minutes after I said that, I look over, and it's this dude that getting his butt kicked. There's like three guys on him, and they're just beating him down. And I'm like, oh, that must be security. Okay, is anybody else coming? So I'm a black belt, so and taekwondo and a whole bunch of other stuff. So
Hmm.
at that particular time, I just went over there, got one guy off of him, got another guy, held this bottle, put him down, broke this guy's arm, hit him. The guy looked up, and we dragged him outside. Police got him. He said, "You want a job?" I said, "When?" He said, "Right now." I said, "How much?" "Well, you get paid. I pay you $200 tonight." Let's go.
Yeah.
Now, here's the funny part. The next day, Lisa Left Eye walks in the club with all of her girls.
Hmm.
This time we have about three security, but the guy says follow her around the club. So I just follow her around the club, and she's having a good time. Her and her girls. Another fight breaks out, but this time the fight is coming towards me, and I'm by the bar. So I pick Lisa up and I threw her over the bar, so the bar would be her so no one can get to her.
Hmm. Shelter.
And so
Hmm.
we take care of it. Yeah. So we take care of everything, throw her out. And she looked at me, says, "You want a job?" I said, "Doing what?" "My bodyguard." I said, "Okay." The next day I was in Las Vegas on the TLC tour. That's how fast it happened.
Wow. Yeah.
In
So
2 days.
two days. So I guess what I'm trying to find out is, like, is there some course, or obviously you were qualified because you are, expert in self defense and those types of things. But is there some accredited course, like security or firearms
Nah,
training and all that kind of stuff? There, or it's just.
that's for CIA and so some other stuff. But for personal bodyguard for rappers and singers, it's
Mhm,
mostly how big you are, or
mhm.
how much they trust you.
Simple as that. Well, I mean, because that brings another question. I know Allen Iverson was held accountable for the actions of some of his bodyguards over the years, and you
Hmm.
definitely have to have a license to have a firearm, those types of things.
Hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
that I would say it would behoove anybody who gets into that kind of work to at least have that done or have some kind of knowledge of security and evacuation procedures and things of that
Hmm.
sort, dealing with emergencies, et cetera. Mhm. Hey, well, let
Yeah,
me ask you.
you would want
Mm,
we would want to do that, but let me tell you something. fifty
mhm,
percent to 60% of all those rappers that just first of all, let me say this.
mhm,
In the field when I got better and understood the field and everything, because I was thrown into it.
mhm.
But nobody out of 60 artists, nobody's ever got hurt on
Okay.
my field.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I always say this: if you look at any president, right,
Yeah.
and this is no knock to anybody. It's just you got to think about this. There's no there's no FBI, no CIA, no Secret Service bigger in weight, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, guarding no precedent.
That's right.
Okay, your job is to get. You know this in military. Your job is to get in and get out.
Right.
So the bigger you are, the slower you usually are.
Yeah.
Because if you're fighting somebody, who's guarding your principal?
That's true. Put
So
together.
the biggest de-escalation is not to fight, not to argue, how to stop everything and how to talk to somebody.
Mhm,
Because most of the times, if you're in a club, 90% of the time, the people that you're arguing with are drunk.
mhm.
Okay, and that's when they get their strength. So you have to learn to de-escalate and know where the exit is. And yeah, I always tell the people I train, if you're fighting, you lost.
That's a really, really good way of doing it because you should be a deterrent, if nothing else.
Yeah,
Someone should see you and say, "I'm not going to do that." And then, as you said, as things escalate, you should be able to de-escalate it. And if you weren't successful at doing that, then the ultimate failure is to have to be physical with people. I
yep.
want to
And
ask
and
one
the
of the.
biggest
Okay.
secret,
Mm-hmm,
or last
mm-hmm,
thing I want to say, the biggest secret to
mm-hmm,
all of it is if you have the budget. Most artists do is you do have a really big dude. That's your deterrent, right? That's the person.
mm-hmm.
But the person next to the artist that look like the best friend is actually the bodyguard.
Oh
That's the
wow.
one. That's the one you say you'd be like, oh, that's his boy and everything. No, that's actually the bodyguard. The big one is the one you hired when you came to town just to look the part.
Okay.
But I'm usually the one, or someone's usually sitting next to him, looking at the drinks and all that stuff, guiding people. So you sit over there, you sit over there,
Mm-hmm.
but you look like the friend because you're never supposed to look like somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like in military, there would be someone's ear, the person next to the president, but there's somebody on the rooftop or somewhere say, look to your left, person in the blue,
Mm-hmm.
person in black, blah, blah, blah. So
Yes, another thing you're saying is that it's constant communication. Got to definitely know and be in communication with what's going on around you. But I want to ask one more
yeah,
question about this. Uh, there was a rash of shootings of rappers. We could talk about Tupac, Biggie, and those guys. Is there anything a guy like yourself could have done to prevent that, or do you think that that was just something that was, you know, worked and planned, and that would keep a person like yourself from preventing it?
yeah. First of all, I was there when Biggie got shot. I was actually in Vegas. I was there when Tupac got shot too. I was actually in Vegas. I was actually in Los Angeles at the party.
Wow.
Yeah, there's two things that could have happened. Okay, with all that money,
Hmm.
without all of the in your windows, this happened, that happened. In '96 and '95, there was still something called bulletproof cars.
Hmm.
Period. You
Yeah.
can still rent those cars. Okay, you have more rappers today riding in bulletproof cars than anything, especially in New York, California, and you can rent these cars.
Hmm.
So and they had enough money back then to rent those type of cars in that type of situation, especially when you're Pac and Biggie and you're talking about your death over and over and over. Biggie's first album was Ready to Die.
Yeah.
Tupac is Machiavelli. Your tongue is a very powerful tool. So the executives, you know, of those people, okay. Now remember, we're talking about Puffy, we're talking about Suge. So regardless of what you may think, the executive could have got them bulletproof vehicles because directly right after they got shot, everybody was riding in a bulletproof vehicle.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate because it seems to me just conspiracy written all over it. I mean, it really even smacks of the ML. It's not the JFK situation. You remember? I mean, Oh my God. I was actually, Dr. Mitchell, I was actually in Dallas in that area where Kennedy was shot. And there's absolutely
Mm,
no way that those three bullets that they said came from that book
exactly.
supposedly did what the damage that they were talking
Exactly.
about. I was right there. It was absolutely impossible. But that's another topic for another day. But listen, let's take a
Yep.
quick break. I want to come back and I want to get into the meat of your mentor program and the iron sharpens iron thing that you got going on. You got a lot of great stuff happening. This is the RobCast Podcast. I'm talking to Dr. Domonique Mitchell, the great Dr. Domonique Mitchell, a guy who holds
Let's
the
go.
keys to cities. We'll be right back.
Have you been thinking about an innovative way to promote your brand and attract new customers? Well, welcome to Christiana Cross Media, where your imagination meets cutting edge AI production. With AI powered video, we can create stunning commercials, animated content, and even custom characters for your brand, whether for traditional media or social platforms. We even craft storyboards, design persuasive pitch decks, and sales presentations. Our AI powered solutions cater to all your media needs. We take your brand or image into the future. Let me show you what's possible. Want a cinematic ad with a superhero flair? No problem. Perhaps an anime adventure that transports your audience to a whole new world? Art lover? Your brand could be a masterpiece in motion. Looking for something fun and quirky? Let's go Pixar style. Or dive into fantasy and fairy tales. Maybe a cartoon wonderland to showcase your product. How about claymation animation? Lights, camera, action, and show the world. With Christiana Cross Media, we don't just create ads, we build experiences that captivate audiences and make your brand unforgettable. From commercials to ongoing animated series, we can develop a unique AI powered character and create weekly content that tells your story in a whole new way. Be the first in your industry. Contact Christiana Cross Media.
Hey, and we right back. RobCast Podcast with Dr. Robert Benson and Dr. Dominique Mitchell. We're talking about some great stuff here, but let me share a quote with you guys that I just wrote today. And it goes like this. It's simply this. The power and influence a woman can have over a man is far greater than the power or influence a man can have over a woman. Well, Dr. Dominic Mitchell seems to understand that maybe exactly like the way I do, where I stated, but he does a regular thing that I'm going to help him out with here real soon, where they talk to women about men. Dr. Mitchell, please explain that and talk about what you guys accomplish with that program you do.
Yes, I have a nonprofit called Iron Sharpens Iron, and we help men with mental health issues. It's really not mental health issues. 90% of men we deal with, they just need to cry, get it out, and someone to listen to. But we also, by popular demand, we have hundreds of women, their wives, the girlfriends, and women. We call Iron Sharpens Iron the ladies' edition. After hearing these men, the women want to bridge the communication gap. We help women understand men emotionally. We teach health, emotional connection. We create accountability on both sides.
Mhm.
And we tell women that, hey, all you have to do is listen. Don't cut the man off. Become aware. We teach the woman, which a lot of them don't know, what a good woman is and what a kind woman is. They don't know the difference.
Hmm, that's
And
interesting.
it's a big difference because a good woman can cook, a good woman can clean, a good woman can work hard. She takes care of the children, she handles responsibilities, she helps build a great household. But a kind woman, she creates emotional safety. She has patience.
Hmm,
She's gentle. She listens. She encourages. She has great timing. She's soft and she knows when her time is to speak. For example, a good woman, you can come to a good woman and say, "Hey, babe, let me tell you this. I'm creating this business," and you can say blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Once you finish, that good woman is so excited that she either says, "Hey, add this and add that." But as men, we got a 1.0 kindergarten mind when it comes to our woman. We just wanted her to really say, "Great job, honey. I'm here
Mhm.
if you need me." We didn't need you to add on this, add on that, because we thought about everything.
Mhm.
That's it. Then we would have went back and we would have wrote some more and probably come back and now say, "Honey, what do you think about this?" Ah,
Mhm.
now when we say, "What do you think about this?" we want your input, but we have to both be retrained. Women was trained to cook, clean, use what you got to get what you want, and we were taught as men to shut the hell up, mind your business, go
Mhm.
outside, and then if you had a father or uncles, you played basketball, football outside. We was told not to cry, so we don't have emotions. Women are emotional, we're logical, and until we get that tear out, until we cry, until we go through all this. So we teach men that we were mocked, we were ignored, we was judged. And if you went to military, think about this.
Mhm.
You did 6 months to a year of basic training. You went to military, maybe war and all this, but there was no 6 months to a year training de-escalation to leave. You
That's
just
true.
left and went home to your wife
Yeah.
with all these mental. Think about a boxer. A boxer has never, you've never seen a professional boxer cry. He got his nose broke, cheek broke, and he got to kill all the emotions. But then
Mhm.
he got to go home to a woman that wants emotions. He can't do it. He wasn't trained that way.
Mhm.
So we have to retrain ourselves over and over because men are carrying pressure, responsibility, trauma, leadership fatigue, financial stress, relationship confusion, emotional exhaustion. We got to go out here. We got to deal with the police. We got to deal with other black men. Women don't have to worry about walking down the street and four black men coming up to you, or four black women coming up to you, and you be like, "Oh God, I got to fight."
Mm.
You know, women don't have to worry about you driving your Bentley in New York or California and worry about these guys coming. You're like, "Oh, sure, you got to carry your gun." It's crazy that as black men, we have to, in certain places, devalue who we are for us to be safe.
That's a really
Think
good
about
point.
that.
That's a great point, and I love the boxing analogy because essentially we're getting beat up by a system, and then we have to come in and expect that the ability to outpour, but in a lot of cases we're being questioned or we're being minimized on some levels. Like one of the
Mhm.
issues I have with women is, and wives in general, is they have a tendency to compete. One of the things that the great Chris Rock said over and over again in one of his pieces. He said, simply stop competing. You know, your success is his success. Uh, his success is your success. If you start seeing each other as each other's competition, you may accumulate some things, but you'll never become successful together. There's going to always be that measuring stick against each other when it should be for each other. And I think that is an incredible way to approach it. Okay, so let's go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead. You got a thought on that? Go ahead.
What Chris Rock said was exactly true, but
Mhm.
he has to add on one thing, and I tell people this all the time. If we're going to go and talk about what women and men should do, we need to put the word unhealed. You talk about unhealed women who are competing and unhealed men because men, we deal with lustful things and women deal with attention. So attention can make a woman feel wanted. Lust can make a man feel needed, but neither one creates love by itself.
Hmm.
So most people don't need to be fixed, they need to be understood. And until you heal, until you understand why there's a problem, you're not going to heal. There's a problem with that.
Mhm.
So because the woman wants attention and we want lust, we give the women attention because of our lustful, and they want attention, so they give us the lust, and boom, all we have is sex in common. We can't de-escalate. We don't know how to talk. Unhealed people often find each other because pain recognizes pain. Until you make peace with the mirror, your reflection will never change.
Well,
Period.
that's profound. And I remember there was a time when my wife and I first got together. I mean, we're fine now, but there was a time when all we could give each other
Hmm.
was physicality. Now it took some
That's it.
time,
That's all
and
we know.
yeah, and we of course we grew together and accumulation, like I say, material things that were fine. But again, there was a time when that was all we had to offer each other, and it's these interventions and understanding these things, and then identifying triggers to keep you from going back to the old way is stuff that you guys
Hmm.
tend to teach folks, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it goes back to that good woman and kind woman. A good woman heals a good woman helps a man survive. A kind woman helps a man heal.
Hmm. So yeah, now okay, so we talked about the woman's role in helping that iron sharpen iron. Now let's talk
Hmm.
about the man's role in iron sharpening iron. What is it that you do? I mean, I'm sure there's mentoring, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Get into the nitty gritty of iron sharpening iron in the program that you run.
Iron sharpens iron is a safe space for men to talk honestly, remove the mask, to heal, to relearn or learn communication, to understand their emotions, to rebuild accountability, become emotional stronger leaders.
Mhm.
Not weak men, healed men. Most men don't fall from lack of vision, they fall from lack of emotional stamina. And most men are not emotional unavailable. Most men are emotional untrained.
Mhm.
So we created Iron Sharpens Iron to help men cry, get it out, talk. Let's go back and find out what's wrong. And it usually comes back from grandmama, mama, sister, from somewhere between 14 to 16.
Oh,
And
okay.
what we usually say is, one just last week when we had this, one man said, "Yo, I don't cry, man. I just don't do that, man. Last time I cried, my woman called me a bitch,
Okay.
and I'm just not gonna do that no more, because I said, okay, so that means you are bigger than Jesus. He was like, man, what you talk about, man? You love Jesus? He said, I love Jesus. Well,
Mhm.
you believe Jesus is God? I said, yeah. Well, that means God Himself wanted to feel some emotion
Mhm.
because He Himself cried. Jesus wept of the love that this woman had for Lazarus. Now, even though He knew that He was going to resurrect Lazarus, He still wanted to feel some emotion that we went through. Okay, He didn't cry on the cross. That was His purpose. See, there's a gift and a purpose. Come
Yeah.
on now. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
talking to somebody right
Yeah.
now. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
your gift. You don't. There's your purpose. There's a gift. So if Jesus cried and He was the most powerful man to walk on the face of this earth, you saying you can't? What does that make you? Then He just started bawling.
Let
And
it
after
out.
about 15 minutes, He was just like, wait a minute. He just felt so much better.
Hmm.
And so that's what we do. And a lot of things is I teach these women and men. Think about this. Grandma, for a lot of men, was the woman who let us talk. Grandma was the one who said, come here, baby. Grandma was the one who said, my baby gonna be somebody. Y'all leave him alone. Grandma was the one that cuddled us. If
Hmm.
we got to grandma's house, we was gonna be safe. Here's what people don't understand subconsciously. When they put the casket and they closed that casket on grandma, you were 14, 16, 8, 10. I don't know how old you may be, but subconsciously, you closed the casket on all your emotions. You didn't realize subconsciously, I'll never love like that again. Grandma was everything.
Hmm.
She was the only one I trusted. That was it.
Hmm.
But subconsciously, when you got older, you was looking for grandma. You was looking for mama. You was
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
for these type of women, and you couldn't find it.
Mm.
So what happened was when you got married, you was looking for that comfort of grandma. She didn't give that to you. You was
Mhm.
looking for that comfort of such. She didn't give that to you. And now, as you get older, you're like, okay. And so we find that out. What's the comfort you trying to put pressure on your wife or girlfriend that you don't even know that you're doing? Because subconsciously You're trying to get your mother, you're trying to get your grandmother, because that's who we learn, supposed to learn love from. A gorilla don't learn love from a zebra. A zebra don't learn how to be a lion. So we're supposed to.
Hmm.
That's what's going on. So we go back in the day, and then when they get it, they retrain everything. Everything comes to them now.
Hmm.
So they're more patient. They now understand. We recalculated their brains, and now they have learned. And we just let them talk. They say it themselves.
Hmm. It's amazing you mentioned that because, see, it seems like there's a counter productivity there because most women are looking for a man who can protect them and be strong for them too. So therein lies kind of a little bit of a conflict of what you're talking about. Uh, now,
Hmm.
that leads me to ask the next question. Now, one of the big issues that we deal with is domestic violence. How
Hmm.
do you approach, or what's your approach to handle that domestic violence when a man is not getting that support he's looking for, and he may start to lash out physically?
You know what? I'm glad that's an excellent question, because the men that we deal with, unfortunately, they're the ones getting beat.
Really?
Yep,
Wow.
they're the ones getting beat. We don't talk about that one. We don't talk about the women who are beating up their men. We don't talk about that. We
Hmm.
don't talk about the women who are throwing things at their men. And the men, like, if I touch her, it's over.
Yeah.
You know, if I and what these women don't understand is you don't want the power of a man on you. You know, when he just loses it. There's only
Hmm.
so much these men can take, and luckily they're finding me. So at the end of the day, that's what we're really talking about. We're really trying to help them with their problems right
Yeah, I know because at some point,
there.
once a person snaps, it's not just self-defense; it's aggression,
Yep,
it's destruction.
yep,
And I think that
yep,
oh man, that's interesting because I would think that that would be the first thing you try to prevent. But man, I didn't realize that it was that reactionary, that you had that many
yep,
people who were dealing with violence against them.
yep. Very
Mm,
much so.
mm,
So many men. And guess what? Who you gonna tell? You gonna tell who you gonna tell? My
mm.
woman beats me?
Wow. It's embarrassing. A lot of that pride in effect.
Exactly.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, man, I remember some time ago there was a movie out about that very thing. How he was ridiculed, the guy, the husband, the wife was beating
Mm-hmm.
him and hitting him with phones and all this other
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the police finally came and reacted or responded to the domestic violence that was going on at the house, they immediately zeroed in on him before he
Yep.
could explain what was going on. He was in handcuffs and all
Yep.
kind of other stuff, man. So
I
it's
have
mm.
videos.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
have videos that men send me that they
Wow.
want me to put online, so men and women can see what they're going through.
Wow.
I have hundreds of videos that I refuse to put online.
Hmm.
I use it for when we do our conferences, and I put it up there so women can actually see, because women be in a bubble.
Yeah.
They're in such a big bubble that they don't even understand what's going on in other people's life. They think they do, but they don't.
Hmm. Hey, let me ask you this, Dr. Mitchell. You said women are in a bubble, and we're talking about violence. Let's talk about finances for a minute because that's another big deal in relationships. Uh, a
Hmm.
lot of women they want. I'll just give you an example of what I deal with sometimes. My money is our
Hmm.
money. Their money is
Right,
their
right,
money. So,
right, right.
what are some of your techniques, and what are you offering to deal with that problem or scenario, as it were?
Very simple. It's business.
Hmm.
At the very beginning of your relationship, that's something guys should have been talking about a long before you got into it.
Hmm.
Okay, right? It's called, but we don't. Here's the thing: it's called communication.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? What are we talking about? How are we going to handle this? How do you handle this? Wait a minute, you're coming into my home. Because, I deal with a lot of men who, how can I say this? They love the woman, but they have to accept the woman's kids too from some previous marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I have to bring the kids from previous marriage into my home, into my peace, because I have to love you and the kids, but I also have to deal with the father, crazy butt too.
Oh, God, yeah.
Now I'm feeding all these kids and the father's not. But if we get a divorce, you want to take my house and live in here with the kids. You ain't built this. You ain't. So there's a lot of things we have to talk about that we don't talk about,
Hmm.
and we have to start talking about at the very beginning. And this is why a lot of men, and you hear women saying, a lot of men are going elsewhere in different races, because women are black women are fortunate at 1.0 when it comes to dating. And there are so many other races that come up to black men and just want to talk before we talk. Oh,
Hmm.
and they don't understand that because they're not international travelers. When you go to Rome, go to Italy, go to Dubai, those women talk. Hey, hi, oh, you're so handsome. You're this. You're before. Wow. So you get all of these different races talking to you. By the time you get to black woman, you're like, you know, I'm not dealing with your attitude. I'm not dealing with your hot flashes. I'm not dealing with your menopause. I'm not dealing with your period. I'm not dealing with what the three other guys done did to you. It's just too much. In 30 days, I probably got a 3-day window with you
Hmm.
being okay. I'm tired of it. That's what these men are going through. And again, vice versa with the women. The
Yeah.
women are going through the same thing. You've been hurt from this man to this man. You haven't healed. You probably have an anxious attachment or some other type of attachment. You don't realize what type of detachment you have. And so these things basically happen. And so that's why I said hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because, as we said before, we went from talking about finances, now we're talking about relationships, and now you threw the race situation in there. Culturally, we still have to deal with that uh, slave residue, as it were, that
Yep,
feeling of inferiority, and that survival technique that at a certain time in our history meant that you didn't respect a black man at any given time. He was to be defamed and probably even killed for just
yep,
being who he is or trying to speak up and be a man for his family. Do you still
yep.
find that we're dealing with residue from that to this day, as late as we are in society?
As great as our parents did as what they could do, our parents was taught from a slave. We were taught from a slave, Jim
Yeah,
Crow, to a slave, Jim Crow, to a real slave, slavery. As black people, we're the now. Don't get me wrong. We're not the only ones in slavery. Asians was enslaved for 2,000, 3,000 years.
yeah.
We were enslaved for 500, but they were enslaved from their own people. We wasn't, and so
Well, we're
we're
not
the
here in the
only ones
states
that.
now. We were over in
Right,
Africa now.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so we're the only people that were taught to survive through our parents, not to live. And right now, we're trying to teach our kids how to live, not to survive. And so it's a big difference of training where our parents worked. And remember, back then, women didn't have rights.
Right.
So they didn't have any rights. So they couldn't vote. They couldn't get a car. They couldn't get no homes in the 40s and 30s and 50s and 60s. So, voting rights and all that stuff. So they had to get the best man possible. So they had to use what they got to get what they want. They had to find someone from Vietnam. They had to do that. Grandma
Mhm.
had to. She was forced to. But they still taught us how to survive. My mother apologized to me because she was always like, get a job, get a job, get a job. Then when I became an entrepreneur, she said, I'm sorry. When she retired, I'm sorry. I've been telling you. I said, Mother, it's not your fault. That's all you knew.
You
You're
were
the
conditioned
hardest
that way.
worker in the family. You worked for, you got us out the hood at 21 years old. You got us out the projects. You took care of us. 2 buses, 2 trains every single day in New York City from Queens, New York to Manhattan. We're
Yeah.
here because of your blood, your sweat, your tears. But there's a different way now. We ain't looking at 8 tracks no more.
Right.
We ain't
Right.
looking at tape decks no more.
Right.
Shoot, some of us ain't don't have DVDs no more.
That's true.
So it's a different time. And so if we're not changing with the time, then we live what I call a Moses syndrome. The world don't need you. You hit the rock. You're never gonna make it to the promised land. Your people will, but you won't.
Well, and that's interesting you mentioned that because most leaders they really don't see that promised land. I mean, they get us there, and me, I can tell you from being in leadership positions myself, the thing that I look for the most in my people really and have over the years is how do they perform when I'm not there? Because if they don't perform and do what they're supposed to do when I'm not there, then I haven't done my job. Because
Mm-hmm.
if that's the only time that they will perform is if I'm not there, then that means that they don't have respect for me. They have fear, and that's the thing that I
Right.
think that we have to come to terms with and understand is that if you're a true vision, if you're a true leader, you'll inspire people to perform and get to where they need to go without you. I think that's very, very profound that you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, now let's talk a little bit deeper. We're talking about like a higher, older adult now. Let's go a little bit further down and talk about this boot camp that you do, where you're reaching people at a lot younger age. Talk about that program.
I've been doing that program starting with Lisa Left Eye for 30 now, 5 years, because when she died, I said I'm going to continue to do it every Saturday for 35 years in the city of Stone Mountain. Um, these There is a problem with our kids today called development. They don't know what the heck that is. They have no idea what development is. And so because of the internet, because of the fast access, these music artists, these kids today, they don't understand life. So our job is to show them hard work beats talent when talent's scared of hard work, and
Mhm.
we work them hard, hard as poor kids. But today's kids, we probably have 100 kids a month. Only five can make it in the first 15 minutes.
Wow. So, what are your success stories? I know you got some people that come back and thank you for giving them that commitment. And because, like you say, we talked before about rearing up a child and they never depart from it when they get older.
It's funny you say that. Just last week, my students from 2 years ago,
Mhm.
he was a gospel artist. He was only 15 years old. Now he's 15, 16. Now he's 17, 18, 19. He has an internship at CBS.
Mhm.
He wants to be, and because of his hard work, they hired him. So now at 19, 20 in New York City, he's in front of the camera now as a news reporter.
Wow.
And so he gave me props. A lot of music artists, a lot of entertainers, a lot of actors. Like I said, it's not that many because out of 100, maybe two, three, four. But that's how you have to break everything down. Just plant the seed.
Simple as that. And the thing of it is, it's going to end up being attrition anyway. I mean, the fact that they came and tried it is great, but the ones who really
Hmm.
make it to
Yep.
the test, I mean, it's the way life is. I mean, the people
Yeah.
who we see in front of the screen all the time are really the one percenters in all of the major
Yep.
sports. For every
Yep.
one of them, you see, there's millions that try to get to that one position that they're sitting, even if that
Yep.
position is on the bench. So, but Dominic, let's talk a little bit about how people can get in touch with you and some of the other things you got going on and what we can look for from you in the future.
Well, you get in touch with me real simple. Get in touch with you. You get in touch with me.
Right on. Right on. That's it.
Okay. With this show, come see the show. Come see everything. But the biggest thing that I'm doing right now is health and wellness, stem cells. I
Mhm.
own a percentage in a stem cell business, and we want to get black men and black women more into stem cells for recovering, healing, regenerating your body, joint pain, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer. There's a lot of people dying of cancer, and they don't understand that what they can get with these type of generating cells that can kill cells and then regenerate them with your stem cells. So I'm trying to get more people. We spend so much money trying to look young, but not enough money trying to stay healthy.
Mhm.
And so stem cells are now, it's what the Magic been doing. Asia, all of these people around the world but us, because we said, oh, it's too expensive or it's too this, but it's not. It's really not if you can understand how to do it, what to do it. So I invested into a stem cell business and we're bringing it into the United States now. And we just had a couple of boxes. Zab Zuda, champion. Zab Zuda got his first stem cell treatment 2 weeks ago. Now,
Mhm.
before his stem cell treatment, he couldn't do push ups. He shoulder was hurting. He had liver problems, a lot of things. He was, oh man, you're about to hear him come out on ESPN talking about it in the next couple of weeks
Wow.
at stem cell. Now he's running 5 to 10 miles a day. He's boxing now, and we tell him, "Don't you do that." He's doing 12 rounds. He couldn't even get in and do one round. Yet day before yesterday, he did 12 rounds
Wow.
just sparring. He is he's doing hundreds of push-ups because it regenerated his whole life. And that's no vitamins or anything. It's just the stem cells that are in your body we lose at times, and we just need to regenerate it. And that's what we need to teach. So please, people, look up stem cells, okay, and look at it. And if you're sick or whatsoever, get in touch with the show. Let them get in touch with me, and let us send you some stuff, and you'll see that it's not expensive as you think it is.
Well, that sounds like a good plan. Stem cells sound like the AI of the medical field now. I
It's
want
been
to.
we without stem cells we can't live. God gave us. Whew,
Well,
we don't even understand.
that's impressive, man. But let me say now, you said something about Magic Johnson, so he's involved with this too.
No, Magic. You got Magic. How do you think Magic don't have what he has for all these years?
Right.
There's a reason why. We have to understand that God. Not understand about seeds. Just to show you something. If people would look up watermelon seeds, a lot
Mhm.
of black people were taught spit them out, don't swallow them. Watermelon seeds are the number one God's healing. It's the best vitamins that you can do. Chew the watermelon seeds, put it in your tea and everything. Look it up. Just look up. You're gonna see probably 150 different for just watermelon seeds for
Mhm.
your skin, for your cold, and all this other stuff. But we've been taught wrong for so long that we don't understand. God gives us natural vitamins in our food, but we just eat the wrong things, or we just don't have access to the right.
I understand. Well, Dr. Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us. That doctor is well deserved, and I know that you're about to get another key to another city. Thank you for enlightening us on some things that are very important, especially the stem cell and the medical thing. But I'm looking very much forward to participating in your program next month. So we'll definitely be in touch real soon. But thank you for joining me on the RobCast Podcast.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Hey, well, this has been the RobCast Podcast. I'm Dr. Robert Benson. I want to make sure before I close out that you subscribe and share. And I want to have the information that Dr. Mitchell talked about on the air. But wow, great stuff. And as I said before, I enjoy talking to people that when I'm done, I know I'm smarter. And I'm definitely smarter after talking with Dr. Mitchell. Thank you for joining me. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Go. I wanna see you turn up, gon' make you last for the cash if they ain't offering. That's that swag, secure that bag. I be gone in the flesh, can't make my presence last. That's that flow, and drop it real low. I don't wanna see some more. That's that swag, secure that bag. I be gone in the flesh, can't make my presence last. That's that flow, and drop it real low. I don't wanna see some more. I wanna see you grow. I wanna see you. I wanna see it turn up, gon' make me blast for the cash if they ain't offering enough. What you don't give won't leave me stuck, got me changing up on my way. She would target just cause you got it, we on you because it pays. Man, I need to keep calm for a second. Need to take a minute, how they gon' hit me for my section. Ain't gotta break it down, I peed it all before I stepped in. Been pushing up all up, bitch, you better get your ass in. Swag, secure that bag, I be gone in the flash. Can't make my presence last, now that's that flow. Now drop it real low, I don't wanna see some more. I wanna see you grow, I wanna see you climb and jump off real high. Soar across the clouds, baby, I'm your tour guide. So follow my lead, and we gon' breathe easy. It's gon' be a breeze, yeah, you just might need that. And if I get it knocking, they flocking. I'm tryna run up the profit without me picking your pockets. Don't hit me up when we popping. That's on the bill, how I'm rocking. I'm money stacking and stocking. I take the slow, but no stopping. I take the slow, but no stopping. Keep it real, one call from a deal. Remember hitting random just to show a nigga trill. Remember trying to flip earth on my nigga, popped out my pills. Remember they came to the hood and we chased them back up the hill.
Remember when it was cool just to kick it, nobody selling with tickets. On point, I stay on my pivot, accumulate all the digits. My mama been getting sick, so you know I gotta go get it. Wanna take care of my people, little brother being a bitch. Illuminati, y'all in my DM telling me I'm about to be rich. Nothing but the worldly temptations that can grip on my fingertips. Rather get it up out the mud instead of being a puppet
Now
bitch.
that's that swag, secure that bag, I be gone in the flash. Can't make my presence last. Now that's that flow, now drop it real low. I don't wanna see some more, I wanna see you grow. I wanna see you climb and jump off real high. Soar across the clouds, baby, I'm your tour guide. So follow my lead, and we gon' breathe easy. It's gon' be a breeze, yeah, you just might need me. You just might need a little something. Gotta love how this shit coming. And dip it cause it's bumping like you can avoid touching. Ain't looking out for nothing, we done hit the ground running. You can jump on my jump on my jump on my jump on my. Might need a little something. Gotta love how this shit coming. And dip it cause it's bumping like you can avoid touching. Ain't looking out for nothing, we done hit the ground running. You can jump on my jump on my jump on my jump on my.
Bitch ass niggas. Yo asshole. Scallywag ass. Goddamn. GBOGO.
Thank you for watching the RobCast Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Don't forget to turn on notifications for all new weekly episodes.